All right, people, summer cut, what is it, part 4? Figured I would go ahead and start the video today. Let's go ahead and go weigh in real quick. All right, so this is 216.2. Let's see if I can show you. So 216 is a little higher than I thought, but not too worried about it. I'm feeling super lean. All right, so here's the physique. No pump. It's like 9 in the morning, I think. 10 maybe. So feeling good. I think the biggest thing with this cut is I really want to keep the chest size and the arm size. Last summer we got pretty lean and kind of lost that, so that's kind of the goal this year. And I've actually been training a little differently, been going a little heavier, less reps for those muscle groups. I heard about it on Mark Bell's podcast. This bodybuilder competitor was talking about how she did more what she called creatine workouts, which were more like heavier explosive workouts, and that just helped her stay, more full during her cut. So we're gonna try it out, see how we feel. Now with legs and things like shoulders, we're still staying pretty high reps just because it's the only way I can really stimulate those muscle areas. So let's go ahead and eat some breakfast. Big baby, big baby, big babies. Now, one thing to note when you guys are on your cuts, it's obviously good to track your weight just because that kind of helps you dial in your calories to kind of understand, okay, how many pounds a week am I losing based off the amount of calories I'm having. But also there's another side of it, and this is kind of the phase where I'm at, where it's the scale might not be going down a whole bunch, but you're also getting leaner, and that can just be from, maybe you're holding a little bit more water, maybe you had a little more sodium the day before. So you're actually losing weight, but maybe you're holding more water weight. So while your weight is a good metric to follow in regards to understanding your calorie intake and things like that, understand there are going to be days where you kind of fluctuate, but the biggest thing is the overall picture is that trend going downward. So let's say it was 3 or 4 weeks and I realized that the scale wasn't going down. That's when you could obviously, start to worry and maybe have to lower the calories. But let's say it's been a 3-day period and I actually, maybe I gained, half a pound to a pound. I'm not going to worry about it because most likely it's just water weight because I am in a deficit, So let's go ahead. I want to show you guys something I made real quick. Actually, not show you, but just kind of show you the components of it. I had yogurt, and I was just going to eat plain yogurt before my workout, but I decided let's go ahead and throw in the sugar-free Jell-O that we had in there. So I threw that in there, and I think I used 200 grams or so of the just plain Greek yogurt. I know that a lot of people get the Faye, I think it's called, but this is actually the Kroger brand, which is actually cheaper, and I think the macros are better. 0 grams of fat, 17 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbs. So we threw those two together with a little bit of milk to kind of get the consistency right, kind of more of a pudding texture, and we covered it up and put it in the fridge. So by the time we work out in probably 2 hours, hopefully, I don't know how it's going to react, but hopefully it kind of rises and solidifies almost like cheesecake or like a pudding. So we'll see how that is. We're going to go ahead. We got our creatine in our water. We're taking 5 to 10 grams. I'm not really sure. I don't think if you overconsume creatine, if it's toxic. I'm pretty sure you just piss out whatever you don't consume. But 5 to 10 grams a day with creatine, and then we're gonna throw in our Phoenix fat burner for the, is that focusing? There it goes. For the morning, I don't know. It just says in the directions, eat with your first meal. So eating our fat burner, with our first meal. Also been seeing great results with that. Remember, code Riley at legionathletics.com, link in the description. So, besides this, which we're gonna eat later, the yogurt, let's go ahead and whip up some eggs. All right, so we're currently scrambling up some eggs. I put 8 in there, as you saw. I was doing 6, but I was looking back at my old diet from last summer, my last cut, and I was eating 8. So kind of just following exactly what I did last cut, with maybe a little bit more calories. And then we also have some toast or bread, which I have not toasted, but we're gonna eat that with our eggs. And then we'll see you for the pre-workout meal and then get to the workout. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and check and see what our concoction is looking like, our pre-workout concoction. Looks promising. We're gonna go ahead and throw some blueberries in too. And maybe some like honey, or like I said in the last video, we've been doing apple butter in our yogurt just for some sugar, so maybe we'll throw some kind of sugar in there. So not bad. I probably should have used like a mixer, because there are like small pieces of Jello that weren't mixed in all the way, but let's throw some blueberries on here. Actually, no, let's try it without the blueberries and then we'll try it with. Perfect. It's exactly what I thought it was gonna taste like. Tastes really good, but the consistency is like almost in between like cheesecake and Jello. Or not cheesecake, or not Jello, but cheesecake and pudding. So, tastes awesome. Vanilla flavor's dope. Throw some of these in there. Gonna tar out our scale. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw some Fruity Pebbles in there. So we got the Fruity Pebbles. One serving this is 140 calories, which is 36 grams, and there's 31 grams of carbs, 12 grams of sugar. So we'll just do one serving, which honestly isn't bad. The issue with cereal, especially, is one, you're giving it to your kids in the morning, and two, it's literally just straight carbs, and the servings are so small. So like, I mean, right now I could probably eat this whole box, not even lying. Even as a kid, like, you would just pour out probably 3 or 4 servings, not even knowing it, before school. So you're loading up, let's say you pour 4 servings, I will say 3. We'll say 3 to 4. That's between 90 and 120 grams of carbs. So that's why your kids get so hyper after they eat cereal. So we're gonna go ahead and actually, let's mix this up and try it real quick for you guys. It's actually a lot. Boom. Awesome, even better with those. So, whoa. Actually, maybe we'll make a thumbnail. So, go ahead and try these. All right, you guys, quick little Bible study real quick before we get into the gym. Right now, we're following this plan to read the Bible in a year. So today we're reading Genesis 35, 37, and then we read Psalm 12, and then also Mark 14. Now, something that I saw here in, what is it? It's Mark 14:71, and it's talking about cursing. Well, maybe not talking about cursing, but it made me think of the topic of cursing. So a lot of people, especially Christians, kind of argue back and forth about things like tattoos and especially cussing. In my opinion on it, at least my old opinion on it, was like, you can cuss as long as it's, you know, if you have the right intentions, and if you're like just trying to get a point across and try to explain to someone or express something, then that was fine as long as you weren't using it to like be hurtful or mean to other people. But then I read this verse before, and just I started reflecting on how cursing made me feel, and that's kind of led me into the direction and towards the opinion that I have towards it now. So now I really don't cuss at all. At least I try not to. You know, sometimes I slip, but trying not to cuss. And I'll go ahead and read you this verse, which kind of showed me why I shouldn't cuss. So, as you guys know, Peter was told by Jesus that before the second crow of the rooster that he would deny Jesus. And after that second time that he denied Jesus, he started getting like super like angry with the people around him and like shouting at them. Well, maybe not shouting, but it says here, he began to call down curses and he swore to them, I don't know this name you're talking about. So as he's denying Jesus, he's swearing, whereas he'd never sworn before, at least from what I've read. So now that he's angry and he's denying Jesus, he begins to swear and use profanity. So that kind of made me start thinking like, okay, well, the one time he does cuss, he's denying Jesus. So that obviously shows that even during their time, cussing was seen as like kind of a way to like almost denounce something or like put something down. So that's one reason. Another reason is like once I read that is like I just started reflecting on like, okay, how does it make me feel? And I started to realize like the more I cuss, the more I will say like more inappropriate things, and the more I'll start judging people. And it's just like now for some reason when I say a curse word, it almost feels like I don't know, I feel a sense of emptiness in me. It might sound goofy to you guys, but it's almost like if you were to say something super, super, super bad, like say you were to say like something like the C word or like a really bad racial slur, the regret that you would feel from that, that's kind of the feeling that or at least that's the sense I get when I say curse words now, because I just get a sense that they're not, they're just not good to use. So that's kind of my belief. Now, I don't judge anyone that use curse words. I know a couple big influencers online, or big Christian influencers, still cuss, which, like I said, it's kind of a hot topic in the Christian community, especially online right now. So those are kind of my point of views. Hopefully you guys can, just take that in and take it for what it is. So let's go ahead and get the lift. Today is leg day, so I'm super excited to get in there and train legs for you guys. I've actually never trained legs at this Planet Fitness here at my home. So let's go ahead and get to that. All right, so super excited about today's lift. Like I said earlier, haven't hit legs at this Planet Fitness, so I was kind of curious to see how it would go, especially with the time that I went. I went in the evening, so I was kind of worried that it was going to be kind of, busy, which it was, and we'll see that here in a second. But I figured since we're doing legs, I'd go ahead and give a quick little brief introduction about like my injury that I had last year and like my progress in the last, it's been over a year now. So last year during spring ball, I think it was like a week or two before the end of spring ball, I was doing an ST drill and completely tore my meniscus, my ACL, just absolutely shattered my knee. So after that, I had a vacation coming up, so we decided to postpone surgery because after ACL or meniscus injury, it's pretty detrimental, but like after a couple weeks, you can kind of just walk on it and be fine because your muscles get better. So went on vacation, which was fine, playing beach volleyball, everything great on vacation, which I probably shouldn't have been doing. But come back from vacation, go right into surgery, and then surgery hits. Everything went well, and then you know how it is. After surgery, you're sometimes worse than what you were before. In my case, like I said, I was, basically functioning just fine before surgery with a torn ACL meniscus. But started rehab, and the first couple months of rehab are just baby steps, super small, and then slowly started working back towards lunges, squats, things like that. And then it's just been slowly progressing in those areas and kind of just doing what I used to do, which was really, really deep squats, heel elevated stuff, lots of knee over toe lunges, things like that. And that's what I've been doing. Also, I've been really, really working on hack squats, working on those deep Tom Platz sort of hack squats, just because they're so good for your legs, but also because you get such that gnarly crunch knee over toe, and that's so good for your knees. If you're careful, it's really good for your knees. So been drilling those. So if you're recovering from a knee injury, look up knee over toes on Instagram. They have a bunch of great stuff, but also just work on that deep range of motion, that deep squat, deep knee over toe. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Speaking of knee injuries, I like to start with leg extensions to pre-exhaust my legs out because my knees take a little warming up to do. So these kind of help me get warmed up. Going super insane on these. Like I said in the last video, I would rather murder quad extensions and not be able to do anything else for quads after that. Obviously, I would rather not squat, but some days like today, we felt like we had it in us. So murdered leg extensions, I think we did like 5 sets of basically failure. And the thing with these is you kind of just got to toy around with it and make sure that you can feel it in your quads, because sometimes if your feet are in the wrong position, or if you're just like too far forward or too far back, you can really start to fire other areas like your groin and your hips. So you really gotta, just find a comfortable spot. For me, I found actually having my legs wider on the pad and somewhat outward just feels better, I think, because maybe my hips are structured outward like that. So that I actually feel that more on the outside of my quad when I do that. Like I said, it's different for everyone's bone structure and things like that. And then we moved on. We were going to go straight into heel elevated squats, but all the racks were taken up. So I figured, okay, I'm just going to do some sissy squats, murder these out, no weight, and just keep the pump going while we wait for a rack. And that's the thing, most people will have a workout planned, and then they get into the gym, and let's say a machine's taken up, they'll sit and wait for 20-30 minutes. And I'm just not gonna do that. I mean, I was waiting on the machine, but I'm gonna go find something else to absolutely murder my legs with. So we did 3 sets of these here. And I went over and actually grabbed a dumbbell, which you probably already saw, but I grabbed a little 10-pound dumbbell and put that under my heels, and I would just kind of change up my squat throughout the lift. Sometimes I would just go straight down. Sometimes I would kind of pendulum down into the squat and really stretch out the quad. Sometimes I would drive more through my toes or more through just the middle of my foot. So it's really just, my biggest thing is just hitting every area of the quad, especially on these sissy squats, because I don't want to be biased towards one thing or the other, if that makes sense. And another thing with these is you can also do them, I feel like a lot of people see someone hold on to something and then do the basically sissy squats like that. But what I've been doing a lot lately, and I don't think I did them yesterday, but I didn't record them, is I'll put a roller behind me and go up to a wall, and I'll put it kind of shoulder blade level, and I'll basically just do sissy squats leaning up against the wall and basically rolling up and down the wall. And that is super insane. Honestly, probably my favorite sissy squat movement. And I probably would have done it instead of these, but I was waiting on those machines and I kind of wanted to be nearby. So after that, snagged a machine. I knew after the sissy squats and those leg extensions, our quads were fried. And I planned on doing 225 before I waited. And I was kind of questioning whether or not I wanted to do 225 after doing all those sets, but I was like, you know what, screw it. Let's just go ahead and do like as many reps as we can, even if it's like 8 reps. Let's do like 2 or 3 sets of 225 and just try to get as many reps as we can. If we have to go down, we'll go down. So that's what I did. And then with these, as you might know this already, the Planet Fitness racks, or at least the ones at my gym, are so odd. They're not straight up and down, they're kind of angled back. So being in a squat form, also reaching back and really focusing on my quads as well, it just doesn't feel right. So I've been toying around with how to change up the position and feeling of this lift in this rack. So that's why I threw those handlebars on there. I saw someone else doing that on Instagram with another Smith machine, but I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try. And the thing with that is, like, you have to get it off with your hands, but once you have it off and on your shoulders, you can kind of lean into it and kind of get your hands in those handles, and then you can go into your squats. I was doing heel elevated with these as well, just a small 25-pound plate. And the thing with this is it kind of just helps you relax a little more. Kind of lets that weight just, relax in your shoulders. I find when I have a weight here, or like even holding on to like a safety bar thing, I just get so tense. I feel like I'm using a lot more energy than I need to be doing for my legs. Let me think. Yeah, so that's basically it with the squats. Again, just going super, super hard. That's my thing with legs. It's like I'm just gonna go so hard, and I'm only doing them once a week. So in the back of my head, like every time I want to give up, I just think, okay, I'm only doing this once a week. Like if I really, really want to see leg growth, I've got to go super insane on this one leg day. All right, so that now to like finish off the quads, I kind of forgot we did these. We went ahead and did some dumbbell lunges, some like split lunges. And these were mainly for like the front area of my quad towards my knee. I don't know why, but I just could not feel that pump in that area. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do these like really, really front bias, like the weight is like towards the front of my foot and over top of my foot. And I'm really gonna try to drill out that those muscles right there around my knee, because I feel like when those are pumped, my quad is like, starting to develop more. I don't know, it might just be in my brain. But we did these for a couple sets, or I think 3 sets. Like you can see, just absolutely murdering. So after this, you might be wondering, like, Blaine, you just did like 4 basically quad dominant workouts, and you're only gonna do 1 extension. Now for me, I don't know why, but my hamstrings have always been massive. They've always been strong for me. Now I have had some issues like injuring them throughout the years, but for some reason, like, they've still been strong for me. So the biggest emphasis in this last year or so with my knee injury has just been my quads, like killing my quads. I don't know why, I just atrophied so much more in my quads throughout the injury than I did with my hamstrings. And then when we did I think it's called isometric, or no, not isometric, kinesthetic, I don't know. We did some sort of testing for my knee. It's like test your quad strength and your hamstring strength and kind of compares the two. And my hamstrings were stronger than my quads. So that's why we're only doing one hamstring exercise. And also, like, even though I'm doing heel elevated squats, I'm using my hamstrings. I mean, it's a squat at the end of the day. So even with the lunges as well, like, still hitting hamstrings. But with these, I think I did 3 sets just murdering them. I didn't show it, but there were a few times where, like, I literally had to like climb out of the machine. I was just cramping so bad. So maybe perhaps we'll start throwing these in towards more of the beginning of the workout, just because I was cramping so bad, and I've had previous experiences with like doing my leg curls at the end of my workout and I just cramp out so bad. So probably going to keep the hamstring volume the same, but maybe throw them in at the beginning of the workout, so that muscle group isn't the one that's cramping. So leg day was crazy. This is basically, it got a little out of hand because we waited for the squat rack, which kind of took time and kind of helped us recover a little more than I wanted to. But overall, the basis of my leg day is just extensions, curls, squats. And then sometimes, like you saw, I'll superset with like those sissy squats, or sometimes I'll throw in a lunge. But the main three components is murdering curls, squats, and extensions. Squats, curls, and extensions. Murdering those out, I've been able to develop my legs really, really well with only one leg day a week doing that. And then when you throw in those accessories, like I like to superset the quad extensions with sissy squats. So yeah, crazy leg day. Just go super insane. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Just go crazy. And that goes for every workout. Pick the workouts that you want to do and just go super insane. Honestly, you could pick, let's say you have chest one day, you could pick 3 movements and do 4 sets each. And if you're going hard enough, you might not even make it through that workout. So honestly, it's all about your intensity. You want to know that you're sticking in the range that you want to be in. Like for me, I like to be in this 8 to 12 range right now. For legs, it's a little higher, but like upper body stuff, I like to be in this 8 to 12 range. And I just want to make sure I'm going to failure, absolute failure in that range. So like what that means is, like if I'm doing like dumbbell bench press, I want my failure to basically start setting in around like 7 or 8. And then after that, like if I need help getting 3 or 4 more, then that's okay. But that's the thing, is sometimes people think failure means high reps, and that doesn't necessarily mean that. Like you can hit a failure set and have that be like, still in your range that you want to hit, if that makes sense. So it's all about, warming up right and picking the right weights for your sets. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Like I said, super short videos. But really, I hope I can, jam in a lot of content, like a lot of valuable information for you guys. And I'm also going to start posting these clips, advice from my YouTube, onto my Instagram. Just because on Instagram I do more, I do kind of just like a broad spectrum of videos. I do like my motorcycle stuff. I do, now I'm blanking, my Bible studies, some motivational stuff. Sometimes I do like fitness tips, but not as often. So I think incorporating these little snippets of my YouTube videos onto Instagram will help push out not only my channel, but also just put more like actual fitness information out there for you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. If you haven't already, please subscribe. We're looking to gain a lot of subscribers, especially with this summer, just becoming more consistent. I would love this to be like my full-time job, because this is so like, especially these voiceovers of these videos is so functional for me and like fits so well into my day. And editing wise, it's so easy for me to do. So I love this. And I obviously love Instagram and stuff, but that's more like, to me, when you have subscribers on Instagram, it feels like you have meaningful connections with these people, because subscribing to someone's YouTube channel seems so much more like intimate, because you're subscribing to someone's long format videos, meaning like I want to go and watch this guy and get information out of this guy for 25 minutes out of my day, whereas opposed to like just following someone on Instagram. Obviously it's the same thing, but it's like I'll follow this guy, maybe I'll see his videos here and there. So I really want to develop my YouTube channel just because it's a more meaningful connection with your followers. So yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope you pray today. I hope you read some scripture, talk to God, want you to know that God loves you. And yeah, lift hard and just know that everything is going to be all right. See you guys.